The CIA was asked a simple question about 3I Atlas. Their answer: we can neither confirm nor deny records exist. Now that response makes this story a lot more interesting. If it's just a comet, why not just say so?
Senti, ma non c'è un altro nome? Asteroide. Mette un po' ansia, no? Magari cometa, stella cometa. Non è meglio?
Giacomo, il punto non è il nome. Il punto è che la prima volta che l'abbiamo visto non pensavamo che andasse così veloce ed ha una conformazione strana, insolita e i telescopi non riescono a seguirlo, per cui quando l'abbiamo visto era già molto più vicino rispetto a dove pensavamo che fosse.
On December 31st, the CIA responded to a Freedom of Information Act request filed by John Greenwald Jr. of the Black Vault, and he asked for any records referencing 3I Atlas from June 1st of 2025 to present day. And the response stated that the CIA can neither confirm nor deny the existence or non-existence of records. The agency went on further, stating the fact of documents existing or not existing is classified in itself. This is called the Glomar response. The term comes from the 1970s incident involving a ship called the Hughes Glomar Explorer, which the CIA was secretly using to recover a sunken Soviet submarine. When journalists asked about it, the agency coined this phrase to avoid confirming or denying classified operations. Now here is the context that really matters. Greenwald has been doing this for nearly 30 years. He has filed thousands of FOIA requests, and he made something very clear. Why did the CIA do this? Why not give an answer? Because the CIA doesn't always do this. Greenwald provided specific examples from his own FOIA history. Case F-2022-00699 requests records about a potential attack on the U.S. Embassy in Colombia scheduled for September 11, 2012. The CIA responded with no records. Case F-2021-01807 requested records about an Iranian F-14 that crashed after being scrambled to investigate a flying object near the Bushehr nuclear power plant in 2012. Again, no records. Both of these requests dealt with intelligence matters. Both involved sources and methods, but the CIA did not issue a Glomar response. They simply said no records exist. So the question becomes, why did 3I Atlas get different treatment? And here is where a comparison to another comet becomes very important. Back in the late 1990s, Greenwald filed a FOIA request to the Defense Intelligence Agency, also known as the DIA, about the Hale-Bopp comet. Then, in May of 1999, the DIA actually released an intelligence report. The source was redacted, and that indicates sensitive sources and methods were involved, but they still released the document. It contained information from a January 1996 Defense Science, Technology, and Industry report discussing Chinese observatory predictions for when Hale-Bopp would pass closest to Earth. The document shows the Purple Mountain Observatory and the Jiangsu Observatory under the Chinese Academy of Sciences were tracking this comet, and they predicted it would not come close enough to Earth to have a direct influence, but would be bright enough to see with the naked eye in the northeast and the northwest of China. So here's the contrast. The DIA was willing to release intelligence documents about the Hale-Bopp with redactions. The CIA will not even confirm nor deny whether records exist about 3I Atlas. Both are just comments, right? Both involve potential intelligence interest, but the responses are completely different.
Sì, ma non è la prima volta che arriva un asteroide da fuori dal sistema solare, no?
No, se ne erano già visti altri due simili. Uno Oumuamua nel 2017 e due Borisov nel 2019. Ma non andavano così veloci.
Scusa, Borisov è?
Oumuamua?
Oumuamua?
Sì.
Questa cosa, come la chiami tu, è entrata nel nostro sistema solare e come mille altre cose che vagano per lo spazio e poi se ne vanno in giro per conto loro, oppure si disintegra.
E questo invece che fa?
Che fa?
Ma com'è possibile che non ne sappiamo proprio niente?
In redazione da me nessuno ne parla.
Avi Loeb weighed in on this in his January 5th article, and he pointed out that NASA stated indefinitely at their November 19th press conference that 3I Atlas is a comet of natural origin. As the acting NASA administrator had mentioned,
this is a comet. It walks like a comet, talks like a comet, struts like a comet. It's a comet.
So if that conclusion was clear to everyone in government and academia, why would the CIA treat records about a natural comet as classified? Loeb suggested the simplest interpretation. Some government officials may have wanted to verify that 3I Atlas is not what he calls a black swan event. That means a low probability but high impact scenario. Even if comet experts consider such a possibility unlikely, multiplying a small probability by a high impact factor means these events should be monitored. Meanwhile, new observations continue to come in. Loeb highlighted recent Hubble Space Telescope images from November and December showing what he calls an intriguing configuration. 3 evolving jets are visible jutting out from the object at regular angles from each other, and that is a 120-degree separation between them. But now let's take a look at the radio search signals and some background on who conducted this search. The Breakthrough Listen project is a $100 million nonprofit research project initiated by physicist and investor Yuri Milner in January of 2026. Since 2023, it has been led by physicist Dr. Andrew Simon at the Oxford University. The project uses radio telescopes to search for signals of ET intelligence, and these are what researchers call technosignatures. This is the same project that made headlines back in 2019 when they detected a signal called the BLC-1 that appeared to come from near Proxima Centauri, a star about 4.2 light years away from Earth. That signal was a 5-hour-long burst of radio waves that initially had researchers very excited. For 3I Atlas, Breakthrough Listen used the Green Bank telescope to scan the object on December 18th. That was the day it was getting almost to its closest approach to Earth. They searched across 4 bands of the radio spectrum, covering 1 to 12 gigahertz over a 5-hour window. Initially, they detected over 470,000 candidate signals. After filtering, only 9 remained. Further analysis showed all 9 were radio frequency interference from human technology. The conclusion from the research team was that no artificial radio emission localized to 3I Atlas were detected. They stated that 3I Atlas exhibits mostly typical cometary characteristics involving a coma and an elongated nucleus. However, they also noted that given the small number of interstellar objects known, only 3 to date warrant thorough investigation. And remember that the International Warning Network is still conducting their investigations on 3I Atlas, along with the ESA and with NASA.
Drammatizziamo sempre troppo. In fondo nel passato le cose sono andate a volte molto peggio di oggi.
Peggio che estinguerci per causa di un meteorite non credo.
Che minimizzare sempre, ignorare la realtà poi porta a disastri, eh?
Una civiltà che nega i campi di sterminio, che se ne frega dell'allarme climatico. Secondo voi non c'è qualcuno che nega la possibilità che ci possa cascare qualcosa in testa?
Vero, Greta. Tutte le volte che parlo al liceo di nazismo e dei lager c'è sempre la solita protesta di chi non ci crede. E come se non bastasse mi devo pure sorbire il predicozzo della preside che dice che tutti hanno il diritto di dubitare.
Assurdo.
Come se non ci fossero i testimoni, i filmati, che la scuola peraltro non mostra, invece dovrebbe.
Ma che vergogna. Evitano come fosse pornografia.
Sa che stavolta ci tocca davvero mettere avanti l'orologio dell'Apocalisse.
Ma non è che stiamo entrando in una psicosi collettiva?
Ma vaffanculo.
3I Atlas is currently in the constellation of Cancer, and it is visible to imaging setups and smart telescopes, but not with the naked eye. Then the Juno spacecraft orbiting Jupiter may be able to observe it, though redirecting the spacecraft would be difficult given the fuel constraints that were mentioned by NASA last year. ESA's Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer, also known as JUICE, attempted observations in November, but due to thermal conditions during the spacecraft's travel through the inner solar system, that data will not be expected to reach Earth until February of this year, which we already knew since the beginning. So, we have NASA saying it's a natural comet, the CIA issuing a classified response, a historical precedent where the DIA released comet-related intelligence documents about Hale-Bopp, and ongoing scientific observations revealing unusual features. Greenwald summed it up best. Ask questions. We get absolutely nowhere if we don't.
Comunque ragazzi è così, cioè arrendiamoci, come esseri umani siamo una specie a vita breve.
A vita breve dici? Beh, così. Scappa via in fretta.
Beh, dipende dall'idea del tempo che abbiamo. Ci sono delle farfalle che vivono un solo giorno.
Sì, ma hanno la sensazione in quel giorno di vivere una vita intera.